That's great. Well, I just want to say hello to everyone that's watching live right now, and also for people that will be tuning in later to the recorded video. Video's good. Oh, I want to put my microphone on now. Okay, how's that? Okay, so I'm going to officially start now and just say, yes, I'm so happy to be with everyone. This is a live stream in honor of the channel hitting 1,000 subscribers. And I guess I just want to begin by saying thank you, everyone who's subscribed to the channel. And for those of you who are checking out this video, I really feel great about reaching 1,000 subscribers. And I've been thinking about it. It's been a goal of mine to get to this many subscribers for a couple of years now. The channel went through some changes about 2.5 years ago, and yeah, I feel like the video that was the turning point for the channel was April 1st, 2019. And I don't know how many of you have been following along since then, but there was a video that I put up at that point called Heart Chakra Portal Right Ahead. And it was a moment where I got that video out a few days ahead of time. And it was partly in conjunction with a class that I was teaching called Tarot and Flow. And I was encouraging everyone in the class, but also encouraging everyone on YouTube to actually get outside in the morning and see the heart chakra portal, which was a Moon, Venus, Mercury, Neptune quadruple conjunction, what I would call a super portal. And yeah, the Venus Neptune part of it is all about the heart chakra and spiritual love and yeah, the divine love of the divine for us, love of us for the divine. That's the Venus Neptune energy, and it was combined with the moon and Mercury. And so the moon adds this kind of caring energy, and Mercury has a lot to do with our thoughts and our words and our communication. And I just felt like it was such a special alignment, the kind of alignment that only happens every 6 or more years, to have all 4 of them together. And yeah, that was a turning point, I feel, where I was really inviting everyone who was watching to get outside and see the alignment, but also to tune into it internally. And since then, I think, yeah, I've done more videos along those lines, encouraging people to get outside and see the alignments, if at all possible. Sometimes they're not visible, but there's something about getting out there and seeing the planets that is even more impacting than just reflecting on them. And so I feel like the channel has moved more in a kind of embodied astrology direction, where it's about being in nature and connecting with the earth, but then also connecting with the sky. And so, yeah, that was 2.5 years ago, that heart chakra portal. And then we've gone through 2 more heart chakra portals since then, the heart chakra portal of 2020, and then earlier this year we had another one. And I kind of feel like that's the kind of essence of the channel now, kind of tuning into the heart chakra vibe and trying to align with it and trying to align with the planets who help us align with this kind of energy. And so, yes, those have been three really popular videos on the channel. And so, yeah, I think since then, I've really had the intention of making more regular content. And yeah, and at that point, especially later that year, another big video that I did was what I called the Dance Party Portal. It was actually a series of videos, and that was a Sun, Venus, Mars triple conjunction. It actually was with all of the inner planets, but it's especially the Venus-Mars conjunction that had that kind of dance party energy, especially with the sun kind of lighting it up. And that's an alignment that we have right now, a Venus-Mars conjunction. And again, we're in a kind of dance party energy. It's different. The sun's not on it this time. It's actually with Jupiter at this moment. And I'll say something about that. But anyway, that was August of 2019. And I remember at that point, I was like, I really want to grow the channel now and set the goal for 1,000 subscribers. And here we are, we've hit it. And I'm just so happy about it. I'm so grateful to have this many followers, this many people that are interested in this kind of content. And yeah, I'm going to be giving away a free reading in celebration of this milestone. And I've put the instructions for the free reading down in the description box, so you can check that out. But basically, you have to be a subscriber to the channel, and you have to be a subscriber to my email list. The link to sign up for the email list is below. And then I'm asking people to write 2 or 3 sentences of an experience that you've had that was moving or sacred or somehow heart-opening, of being out under the sky and connecting with, whether it was that one of these heart chakra portals, or maybe more recently the Venus-Mars conjunction that's been visible, or maybe it was the solar eclipse or the lunar eclipse, whatever it's been, where you had a special experience under the sky. If you could email me that, those 2 or 3 sentences, not more than, say, a paragraph. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to gather all of those, and I'm going to put everybody's email in a hat, and then I'm going to pull one, not today, but 2 weeks from today on the next live stream that I'm going to do, which will be August 8th. And so if you're watching this video after it's gone live, you will have the next couple of weeks to send me that email. And if you feel like posting what you wrote or part of what you wrote, because I don't know how much you can fit in the chat box, or maybe you could put a couple of chats. If you want to copy in your description of your special experience under the sky, that would be great, so others can see that. I'll be reading some of them on the next live stream for sure, if you don't get them in the chat box. And so I think that's clear. Yeah, and so today it's kind of wide open Q&A. I'll answer anything that you've got. And I also have some things I could say at different points, but let me see what's happening in the chat here. Hi, Anna. So we got a few people out there. Let's see. Raven, congratulations. Thank you, Raven. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Josh. Thank you for joining. And what does Arizona Raven say? I usually am outside in the wee hours watching the stars, drones, and other beings. Very quiet, peaceful time of day. Hi, Teresa. Made it. Looking forward to your responses to questions. Thanks for doing the special session. Thank you, Teresa. Does anyone have a question lined up for me while I have a sip of my tea? Could be anything. It could be about the astrology now. It could be about a question about any aspect of astrology. Anything you got. You saw the solar eclipse, Raven? Wow. Yeah, I'd love to hear about that. Did you get to see what was it? It was an annular eclipse in New Hampshire. You would have been able to see, yeah, you would have been able to see some of it right around uh, sunrise. Did you see it with the special glasses? There was the supposed to be the horns. The what are they called? Solar horns? Well, let me say something about, let's see, fairly ignorant on astrology. So where would I start? That's a good question, Raven. Where would I start with astrology? You know, um, I'm starting to kind of think about teaching a beginner astrology class, or not just for beginners, but yeah, what would be my approach to helping people open to astrology in a deep and meaningful way? And I guess the first thing is to just be aware of the lunar cycle, I think. That's where I started at the very beginning, 30 years ago. I just started to be aware of when there was a new moon and when there was a full moon. We just had a full moon, and I just remember it was like an experiment for me. Did I notice anything that was unique around the time of a new moon? And was there anything different around the time of the full moon? And just tuning into that every month. And I did the experiment for a year before I got more serious into astrology. And yeah, I definitely was noticing, wow, the energy's definitely different for me at the new moon compared to the full moon. And so, yeah, that kind of drew me in, tuning into the new and full moon. And I don't remember how much I was paying attention to it in terms of going out to see, say, the full moon. I think I did to some extent, but I think I was probably looking at it in a book of some sort, just checking the dates. And now I would say definitely getting out to intentionally see the new moon and the full moon. And when the new moon is exact, you can't see it. But being aware when the first crescent moon emerges, tuning into that and recognizing, wow, this is the beginning of a new cycle. And then going out to see the full moon, maybe at sunset, watching the sunset, and then watching the full moon rise, and tuning into, yeah, what's unique about this moment where you see the full moon and its brightness compared to the crescent moon and its unique quality. A crescent moon just looks so different from a full moon, and they just have totally different vibes, you know? And so, yeah, I guess that would be the first step in. And I guess I'm really encouraging people to tune into that out in nature, starting with the visual connection, the embodied connection in your local environment. Um, and so I would start there. New moon, full moon, doing some kind of ritual engagement with that. And then after that, the next thing that I would really encourage people to tune into is, when is the moon conjunct Venus? And that's been something I've been paying attention to more recently, and I've been putting out some video content around the moon Venus cycle, where sometimes the moon is conjunct Venus in the evening sky right after sunset, and sometimes it's visible in the morning sky right before sunrise. And yeah, tuning into that and setting the intention to get out to see a Moon Venus conjunction. Right now, they're in the evening sky, and um, it's become something really special for me to be aware of that more and set an intention to kind of ritually engage with the Moon Venus conjunctions each month, because it's such a lovely energy. The crescent moon is lovely to begin with, but then you put it next to Venus, and it's like the most beautiful energy. And that's what the kind of spiritual dimension of a Moon Venus conjunction. It's all about beauty. It's all about love. When you look at a Moon Venus conjunction, it's like, I'm in love with the beauty of this. And so, yeah, I would be encouraging people to begin there. Like, there's so much in astrology. I mean, it's an endless path. There's so much to explore. And I think people can get a bit overwhelmed by it if they try to do too much or go into it, especially if it's like starting with a book. I don't think that's how I would encourage people to start off these days. I would encourage people to start out going out into nature at the new moon, the full moon, and then if you can become aware of it when the Moon Venus conjunctions are happening. After that, it's like observing more like what's happening seasonally with you. Where is the eastern horizon point where the sun rises? Where is the western horizon point where the sun sets? Just really knowing where that is in your local where you live, and starting to recognize that what that is represented in a chart in a two-dimensional abstract way. Sometimes going into the abstract chart at the beginning is too disconnected from what it actually represents when you're in nature or you're around where you're living. So that's a bit of an answer to your question. Okay, there's a lot of chat here now. I'm going to just catch up. Josh, you get all your sky watching tips from me. Oh, that's cool. You saw the great conjunction videos. Yes. Yeah, following the Jupiter Saturn conjunction last year, um, whatever started back in 2019, going out to see the heart chakra portal. And then when that started to expand more towards the end of 2019, when I started to make more videos about, say, I can't remember what I did at the end of 2019. But yeah, I'd already started to really make more of an intention to engage directly with the sky and to explore more what I would call sacred astronomy, like being more aware of the astronomy and starting to feel into it. I don't know, I feel more like I'm an amateur astronomer in some ways than a professional astrologer. And it's just been a kind of rebirth of my astrology in the last couple years, like really learning the sky more and the constellations and following the actual positions of the planets in the sky. Um, yeah, it's really opened my heart to a new dimension of astrology. And all last year, um, once the pandemic started, I found that I really needed to get out with the sky more regularly. And all the videos that I made last year were, um, it's like how I got through the pandemic last year was um, like going out and seeing the alignment, the Jupiter Saturn conjunction. In the first couple of months of the pandemic, it was with Mars, a Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto quadruple conjunction right at the beginning of the pandemic, which, yeah, I was creating videos about all last year. But when I started to go out to actually be with it, this was such a special experience all of last year. And so I'm really grateful to everybody that's been watching the videos last year throughout the pandemic, the first year of the pandemic. Um, yeah, just really grateful to everybody out there because making those videos, having a reason to get out under the sky, a reason in terms of making the video content, it was so helpful to me. So thank you. And I'm so glad they were helpful to you, Josh. Oh, I see, Raven. Teresa, my natal Leo is 8th house with Saturn at 16 degrees and Mars at 27 degrees of Leo. I'm interested in the energies of the full moon and the upcoming new moon, and then the Aquarius full moon again. Interested in the energies of the full moon. So we just had the full moon. It was Aquarius full moon, I believe. Let's see. Having trouble with my software here. Oh, here we go. Yeah. So you're curious about the energy of the full moon. Well, I think basically we've moved fully into Leo season, and so it's a Leo Aquarius full moon. And for me, it just represents here in the Northern Hemisphere, um, it represents the kind of peak of summertime energy coming in. That's what Leo's all about. It's peak summertime. Summer begins with Cancer, but by the time it gets to Leo, it's like full on summer. And then when you go to Virgo, you're starting to move towards fall. And so it can be a kind of combination of summer and fall during Virgo season. But when we're in Leo season, like we are right now, it's like, yeah, it's that kind of very high energy. You know, it's warm, the sun's stronger in summertime, in Leo time. And I don't know, I feel like this full moon really has a kind of peak of high energy to it. Full moons are always high energy, but you add the Leo energy, the peak summer energy, and I don't know, it feels like things are really popping. Is anybody else feeling high energy right now? Teresa, my passion is getting this home ready. Oh, I'm sorry to hear about your flood, Teresa. Oh, I'm very sorry to hear that, Teresa. So, Raven, you're saying check on the moon. Been doing that. I used to use moon for cleansing my crystals. Now it feels different. I prefer the sun. Moon feels artificial. What are your thoughts on that? Do my own ceremony still. I'm curious, Raven, what do you mean that you prefer the sun and the moon feels artificial? Can you just say a couple more words about that? Yeah, we're getting two full moons in Aquarius. this this year. Two full moons while the sun is in Leo. And so, yeah, I don't know. It's just like a big pulse of energy at the beginning of Leo and a big pulse of energy at the end of Leo season. It's the Leo Aquarius axis. Um, yeah, what would I say about the Aquarius part of it? So it's like peak high energy summer, but then Aquarius brings, yeah, its own kind of crystalline clarity, and it's kind of chill energy, and it's kind of more, um, yeah, its sense of social justice and big societal themes. But for me, I guess I'm more focused on it being a full moon during Leo season. That's what it means more to me. We're in Leo season, and then there's these two peak energy moments during it that are kind of climax points. I can feel how a couple weeks ago under the new moon, and it was a special new moon where just afterwards it was a moon Venus conjunction. That whole time from the new moon through that moon Venus conjunction, yeah, it felt like a kind of beginning energy, a kind of moving into some new, just a new phase for me. And now it just feels like the energy's more climaxing, more. For me, this live stream has. I've been planning it for a little while, but that it's happening at a full moon, close to the full moon, feels like, yeah, here's the energy kind of coming through more. So yeah. The deeper I go into other spiritual modalities, I'm learning the moon is hollow. Oh, interesting, Raven. That's very interesting what you're saying there. Um, yeah, I'm definitely aware of these kind of stories about the moon, and um, for me, the moon is all about the mysteries of the night, the hidden mysteries of the night, and its phases have something to do with how those hidden mysteries of the night are revealed more or not revealed, like where it's fully dark at the new moon versus the light of the full moon is shining on the mysteries at yeah, at the full moon moment. And so I'm not sure what to say about whether the moon is hollow or not. I've definitely heard that. I've heard that it's actually a spaceship that was put into position there. I've heard all kinds of things, and I don't know where I'm at with everything. I'm definitely in a place of, yeah, the moon is this incredibly mysterious uh, light in the sky, and I don't know. For me, I don't relate to it so much as being hollow. It feels, yeah, it feels mysterious, and I do like connecting it. I like to connect with it, and I like to feel connected to its phases. Okay. So I want to be sure to name something about what's happening right now as we're meeting here. There's something pretty cool happening. What's going on here? Okay. We're in the midst of this Venus-Mars conjunction that I've been talking about in recent videos. And we're kind of in a later stage of it. Earlier, the Venus-Mars conjunction was more aligned with Saturn, and it's like maybe some of its energy was more contained, more disciplined. Maybe it was a little more frustrated. But now the Venus-Mars conjunction has moved forward to be much more aligned with Jupiter. And Jupiter, of course, expands things, grants success to things, brings joy and positivity to things. And so with Venus and Mars having so much to do with, like love brought on, activated love. Mars activates the Venus love and pleasure principle. With that energy, I've been describing it as like the ultimate energy for getting out and being social, for enjoying dancing and music and all kinds of social energy. It's a much more it's another kind of high energy alignment, Venus conjunct Mars, sort of like the full moon. And so if you add Jupiter to it, it just makes it bigger, it grants it success, it brings it joy. And so I'm hoping that everyone's getting out to have some experiences of music or dance or being with friends. It's the ultimate alignment for social gatherings. And the special thing that's happening today is there's a Moon-Jupiter conjunction opposite the Venus-Mars conjunction. So Jupiter has been opposite Venus and Mars, but here for a couple days, the moon is on it. And so when it comes to sky watching, tonight's a really great night to get out there and see the sky, to watch the sunset. And then about an hour later, well, right after sunset, you'll be able to see Venus there. And then as it gets darker, Venus and Mars are now, how far apart are they? They're about 6-7 degrees apart. So they're still quite close. It's a little bit challenging to see Mars until it's really dark, and usually needs to be pretty clear weather. But if you got binoculars, you can see it really clearly. And so watch the sunset, watch Venus come out of the darkness, or watch Venus emerge from the setting sun, and then wait for Mars to come out, and then watch Venus and Mars set over the western horizon. They're setting around 10 p.m. here in San Francisco, and I think it's different depending on what latitude you're at. But watch them set, and then if you can, go to where the sun rises, wherever you can go to that kind of rising point over the eastern horizon, and that's when you'll see Jupiter and the moon rise. A nearly full moon next to a bright Jupiter, and it's another one of the most beautiful things that you can see each month is when the moon is conjunct Jupiter. And so that would be one I would encourage people to tune into each month if possible. I guess after a Moon-Venus conjunction that happens most every month, the next thing I would encourage people to be aware of is when the moon is conjunct Jupiter. I should say the moon is always conjunct Venus and Jupiter every month, but they're not always visible. And right now, you've got Venus and Mars visible as they set, and the moon with Jupiter visible as they rise over the eastern horizon. So I hope everybody will get out to see that tonight. It's a great one to see with other people. If you're up at 10 p.m. or up from 9 to 10, you'll be able to see Venus and Mars, and then go see the moon and Jupiter. It's definitely a special night for sky watching, and you won't just be able to see the moon and Jupiter. Above them, you'll also easily be able to see Saturn. So you can actually see almost every visible planet except for Mercury right now. You see the sunset, and then you see Venus and Mars, and then you see the moon and Jupiter, and you also can see Saturn. So you can see 6 out of the 7 visible planets tonight if you watch the sky between sunset and about 10:15 p.m. You'll be able to see all of these. And so I think this is a great moment for the channel to be kind of marking this subscriber milestone. It's such a kind of social connection energy. And so, yeah, I hope you'll be able to get out to see it tonight. Let's see, who else is out here? Ah, that's interesting, Raven. I guess when my crystals weren't feeling cleansed, I started digging deeper. So now you cleanse them more under sunlight, or you can cleanse them in, some people use salt water, although you can't do that with all your crystals. Some dissolve in water. You can do it with sound, you can do it with smudging, with incense. That's interesting, Raven. Okay, know thyself and you'll know the world. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in. You're from Belgium. You're in Belgium right now? And Mercury opposite Pluto today. Thank you for reminding me. Mercury's exactly opposite Pluto right now. I want to say something about that. Jupiter coming back into Aquarius this week. Yes. Okay, I'm going to say something about that. But let me first just acknowledge the Mercury-Pluto opposition. It's really exact right now. And it's lined up on my chart in a special way. It's on my midheaven nadir. Mercury at the midheaven really fits for me, kind of just being in this public speaking mode. And Pluto kind of drives it a little more. But yeah, Pluto intensifies things. It brings power to things. It makes things deeper, more powerful, more profound. And yeah, Pluto, in our solar system, Pluto is at the extreme depths of outer space, and kind of like the moon, represents the hidden mysteries. The moon, it's the hidden mysteries of the nighttime sky. With Pluto, it's the deep hidden mysteries of the entire solar system. And so, yeah, it has to do with depths. And Mercury has to do with our mind, with thoughts, with communication. So it has something to do with deep thinking. It's a time for like using your mind to go deep into the hidden dimensions of things, whether that's the hidden dimensions of your own life or the hidden dimensions of the world generally. And so it's usually a time where there's more of an intense impulse towards learning and studying, reading about things. I noticed that I've been reading a little bit more. Last night I was reading a book and I had trouble putting it down. That's a very Mercury-Pluto thing. And so I think it's a good few days, especially right now in the next few days that it's really close to exact. A good few days to go deeply with your mind into something. I also sometimes call it the finding your voice energy. Those two planets together have Mercury's the voice and Pluto's about going deep and finding your voice. And so I think it's a really good time to practice that in different ways. I'm practicing it right now, sharing live here in this medium, but it's also like finding your voice in relationship with people you're close to. And it also has a lot to do with like the power of words to transform, the power of words for good or for ill. Sometimes Mercury with Pluto can be like when you recognize that your words are somehow doing harm to someone, or like the way you're speaking can be too intense, or it can be too damaging. Pluto has the potential for damage and shadow, destructive kinds of energies. And so I definitely think when Mercury's aligned with Pluto, it's a good time to kind of ritualize and be more mindful of like what is right speech? What is nonviolent communication? And Mercury Pluto has a lot to do with like magic and magic spells, the way we can use certain words in powerful ways to transform our lives, like the power of thought forms, the power of a positive thought form to transform your day. And so I think it has something to do with working with, say, positive affirmations and really kind of holding them powerfully in your mind to kind of guide you through your day. So those are some thoughts on the Mercury Pluto. Yeah, I always think about it as how we um, can, how we use spells to, how do I want to put this? Yeah, it's like when we say things in a certain way or we think things in a certain way, it's like casting a magic spell over ourselves, over our lives. Or if you say something in a certain way, it can really be like a positive, uplifting spell for another person. And equally true is when you use like negative self-talk, negative ways of thinking about yourself or talking about yourself. That's especially important. How we speak out loud about ourselves to others has tremendous power. And so being mindful of talking about yourself lovingly to others, I would say those are some good things to think about for this really strong Mercury-Pluto opposition right now. Okay, I'm coming back to the chat. I'm gonna put my glasses on. You wrote some deep things today. Yeah. Pluto has something to do with like catharsis, and Mercury is writing or speaking. So, like cathartic writing, cathartic speaking. And when you're communicating with someone else, the challenge is sometimes there's this kind of cathartic release of saying something in a really intense way that maybe isn't as mindful or kind as it might be. On the other hand, if you say something that is kind and mindful under a Mercury Pluto alignment, it's more likely to have a real power. And so, yes. Josh, you have a comment here. Mercury's conjunct my natal Jupiter right now. So you're getting the long transit of Pluto opposite your Jupiter and the shorter term transit of Mercury conjunct your Jupiter. So yeah, that's really big. The long-term transit of Pluto opposite Jupiter that lasts for 4 years or so at least. That has this big arc of transformation over a 4-year time period. And so many experiences with that one. It tends to be like really big life force energy. Pluto has a lot to do with our life force energies, and Jupiter makes things bigger and expands things and takes them to a more global scale. And so usually when people have Pluto Jupiter, there's a kind of drive, a driven life force energy that has an impulse towards expanding your life somehow, making your life bigger, sometimes more of an impulse towards travel, sometimes more of an impulse towards, yeah, being a global citizen, has a big appetite for life typically. But then if you got a shorter term activation of one of the, say, inner planets, like maybe once each year, 4 times during the overall Pluto opposite Jupiter transit, 4 times Mercury will be conjunct your Jupiter over that whole transit. And so it inflects it more in the direction of the mind and communication and reading. It just makes it bigger with Jupiter and more joyful potentially. Like, I don't know, like really joyful learning experiences, and even more of like a big appetite for learning or reading. Also like a big impulse towards communication on some level. Be a great transit for like who was it that was saying they were journaling this morning? Yeah, a big impulse towards writing could be there. Definitely like a kind of research impulse is often there with Mercury Pluto. The researcher also like has something to do with like the the detective who wants to get to the bottom of things. That's very Mercury Pluto, but then Jupiter just makes it larger scale. It was Know Thyself that was journaling. You're acknowledging the grief for the world. Yeah. Sometimes under Mercury Pluto, it's like you're getting in touch with some deeper material, generally deeper feelings, certainly. Giving voice to the depths of your psyche is a Mercury Pluto thing. Teresa, I will directly use this information about self-talk. For instance, I'm finding I am finding my just right home and moving there in life's best timing. That's a kind of way of thinking about and talking about where you're at right now, needing to find a new home. Yeah, that's like a positive affirmation. I'm going to find just the right home in just the right timing, as opposed to giving voice to a fear. Like, what if I don't find the house? Or what if it's not the right house? Like speaking like that out loud, or even like just noticing if you're thinking that way, kind of having that intention to cast a magic spell over that negative thought form, casting a spell of positivity. I'm going to find the house that is exactly the right house at exactly the right time. That's such a good way of thinking about things. And I guess that's also in alignment with today's Moon Jupiter conjunction that I was talking about earlier. Um, the Moon Jupiter conjunction that's going to be rising over the eastern horizon around 10 p.m. tonight. The Moon Jupiter is the good mother archetype, like the generous feminine. And I think each month when the moon conjoins Jupiter, it's one of the best days to kind of feel into abundance consciousness, like tuning into how are you supported in your life. The moon is about like the support, the caring energy. The moon is supportive and caring, and it's associated with the mother force. And Jupiter makes it bigger, grants it success, brings it more of a hopeful energy. And so, like, I try to tune into it each month, and the moon has to do with our home and like where we live and what it feels like where we're living. And so each month under Moon Jupiter conjunction, it's a great moment to feel gratitude for your home and where you're living, and to be able to see things in a really positive way. Like, I feel really grateful for living in San Francisco and living in this particular home in this particular spot, and I can tune into all the forms of abundance in terms of, yeah, feeling cozy in my home, feeling a sense of, like, the moon has a lot to do with like the bedroom, the kitchen, the places where we're more vulnerable, and like tuning into how those are positive in your life, how you feel really supported in those areas. Like, I'm so grateful for my bed. I'm so grateful for all the food that I have in my kitchen. I'm so grateful for my kitchen table. I'm so grateful for these plants. You know, that's a Moon Jupiter kind of sentiment. And when you meet somebody who's born with a Moon Jupiter alignment strong in their chart, they tend to have this like big caring energy, and they tend to have a smile as they greet you warmly with a lot of emotional care. Moon Jupiter people are often, yeah, just really nice to be around because there's a sense of positivity that exudes from them. At the same time, there's a lot of caring support coming from them. And so this is my way of saying to you, Teresa, that today is a great day. And I would say if you can get out to see the Moon Jupiter conjunction and actually like pray to it, it's a great time to kind of tune into positive potentials around finding where you're going to live next. It's a great time to remember exactly what you were saying, that the perfect home is going to show up at just the right time. I know there's this positive mother force out there that is always trying to guide me towards abundance, especially when it comes to our home where we are the most vulnerable and we need to feel a sense of support and care. So yeah, this is a great time to kind of tune into what's possible, the positive potentials in terms of your home, your living situation. It's also a great one for like tuning into family and friends. I would absolutely recommend that, that this is a great day to reach out to loved ones, to reach out to friends and family. Moon Jupiter opposite Venus, really strong right now, and Mars. But Moon Jupiter opposite Venus is such a big love energy, and it has such kind of caring sweetness that, yeah, it's very supportive of connecting with loved ones. So I hope you all will. Mercury, let's see. I'm so glad you will, Teresa. I want to ask everybody out there to hit the like button. It would help me out if you can hit the like button. And if you're not already subscribed, I'd love for you to subscribe and join me. I mentioned this earlier, but I'm going to be giving away a free astrology reading. The instructions are down below in the box. If you can send me an email with a few sentences about a special experience that you've had with the sky or connecting with a planet or multiple planets, I would love to hear that. And before the next live stream, I'm going to be going through all those emails, and then on the next live stream, I'm going to pick a name out of the hat, and I'm going to give away a 90-minute astrology reading. Thank you for hitting those likes. Appreciate it. Okay, who else has a question out there? Who else has a question? Anybody? I'm going to pull a card. I'm going to pull a card and see if anybody relates to it. Oh, here it is. Oh, wait. I'm going to see. Trust. I think that's the ultimate. Trust. Is everybody in trust mode? Trusting yourself, trusting your spiritual direction, trusting in the divine, trusting in the great mother force. What does it say? Leap into the unknown, have faith, and move forward. Believe you will fly. That's a great one. Oh yeah, you asked about Jupiter and Aquarius. Teresa, you asked how is you mean Lola? You wrote Nola. Lola's doing great. Lola's doing great. She's waiting to see me today. She's been kind of sleepy, and after we get off, I'm gonna go make her a meal. She'll be happy for that. So know thyself. You're asking about Jupiter and Aquarius. I guess for me, first I just want to say the fact that it's been in Pisces and it's approaching Neptune, which is in Pisces. Next year, there's going to be a Jupiter-Neptune conjunction in Pisces, which can only happen, well, a Jupiter-Neptune conjunction in any sign can only happen once every 13 years. And to be in Pisces is much rarer than that. But yes, it got within 18 degrees of Neptune in the sign Pisces, and it's felt a little bit like a preview of coming attractions, that Jupiter Neptune and Pisces energy. And of course, Pisces has a lot to do with spirituality and kind of visionary experience and more the imagination. It has to do with the flowing waters. And Neptune also has that quality, and Jupiter with Neptune has this kind of big spiritual hope and positivity energy, and so it's like super visionary. It has a lot to do with positive visions of the future. And so it's been, I don't know if it's been a couple months that Jupiter has been in Pisces, so it just got in and now it's coming back. It's kind of like we are tuning into the positive vision of next year, and now Jupiter's coming back into Aquarius, and it's going to stay in Aquarius for the rest of the year. I think all year. And it was in Aquarius earlier this year and also part of last year. And so it's like, I mean, one way that I'm relating to it is it's coming back to transit my chart. I have my moon in Aquarius, and Jupiter has been conjoining my moon once in 12-year transit, and it's kind of moved off a bit, but it's moving back on. And so any of you that are aware of Jupiter transits, I think, who was it that, it's coming back to square your sun. So it's like coming back for another wave of the transit energy that you've been in. Jupiter in Aquarius on its own, Aquarius again has that quality of progress, like social progress, and Aquarius is more the energy of the sky, and so it has a kind of big picture understanding of things. Aquarius is known for having a kind of chill, big perspective that has the quality of like social justice in it. And so Jupiter in Aquarius, I feel, it's very much a kind of visionary of like positive social change. And I think a lot of us, after being in this pandemic energy, are very aware of like trying to move into a kind of positive vision of social justice in the world. And so it's like coming back into that energy of thinking about things in a more big picture sense. Yeah, those are a few thoughts on it. Okay, I'm going to pull another card. Any other questions out there? Any other questions out there? Any other questions out there? Power of attraction, everybody. Power of attraction. This is a very appropriate card, given that we've been in the Venus-Mars conjunction. Venus and Mars together is, it's all about attraction and the force of attraction, where yeah, Venus has a lot to do with attraction generally, has to do with beauty and yeah, what we're attracted to, what gives us pleasure. And Mars gives force and fire and heat to the attraction energy. And so it's a time where usually there's more fire to pursue that which you're attracted to or who you're attracted to. And so again, it's a very social energy, and it's like whether it's a friend that you're always attracted to in terms of how much you enjoy being with them, or if it's an actual lover or romantic partner or a romantic interest, this is the kind of energy to take the risk and give that person a call. Or if it's a friend or family member, obviously it's not so risky, but it's still like Mars gives you the heat to get off your butt and make the phone call or get out your door to go see somebody. And so this is a good one to be tuning into. Where are you feeling the power of attraction in your life? Where are you feeling the power of attraction in your life? And what are you going to do to take action towards that which you're attracted? What are you going to do? What are you going to do about it? That's what Venus Mars is all about. Know thyself. You're born with a Venus Mars conjunction in Gemini. Do you have strong attractions in your life? Do you feel that's a theme in your life? Being very attracted, having really strong, hot attractions towards other people, or where it's just a very dynamic social exchange, but also just generally feeling that fire of attraction towards anything in your life, like a goal, a creative goal. You dancer, musician, performing artist, usually Venus Mars people are one of those. Here's another one. This is another Moon Jupiter kind of card. One of my favorite cards. The perfection of your life. Perfection of your life. Yeah, Moon Jupiter just reminds us of all the abundance in our life. It helps us have a positive understanding of our lives rather than focusing on what's more difficult or more negative. Jupiter Moon and Jupiter Venus both are really strong right now. Got Venus opposite Jupiter, the Moon conjunct Jupiter. They're both about recognizing the abundance in your life. With Jupiter Venus, it's like recognizing the abundance of pleasure and sweetness in your life. And so, yeah, right now, the last few days, the next few days, it's a really good time to recognize the pleasures in your life that are available, and that there is abundance of pleasure available to all of us to varying degrees. But this is a really good moment for kind of harvesting pleasure in your life. And so I would encourage everybody to kind of relax into what's the most abundant possibility for today and tomorrow. If I were to align with something like really special in terms of a special pleasure that could happen, whether it's the pleasure of a social interaction or meeting up with somebody you love, it's a good time for like really bringing in that positive love energy into your life. So I hope you will do that. Yeah, that I have many friends, but also very attracted to books, writing, knowledge. That's the Gemini part of it. And writing. Okay. You don't get out and dance? You're not getting out dancing enough. Know thyself. This is the time of year right now with Venus conjunct Mars, Venus-Mars season. It's like getting out to hear live music, getting out dancing somehow. That's ideal. If you can't get out dancing, then definitely put on some music that you love and dance with yourself or dance with somebody else you're living with. No dance. You got to get out there and dance more. Know thyself. Know thyself through dance. Why not? I'll try. Oh, good. I think that's a really good thing. You're willing to get out and dance more or stay in and dance more, because this is what I feel with all of the different astrological indicators. The more you kind of take action that's consistent with the energy, like as we learn about any particular astrological alignment or emphasis in the chart, we start to understand what's possible with the energy. And then when we kind of move in that direction of what's possible, even if it's something we haven't done before, it's kind of like the planets take over and they bring you a new experience of their energy. And so I think dancing with Venus Mars is one of the best ways to kind of feel into the energy. Dancing, playing music. During this Venus Mars conjunction, I've been kind of setting the intention of the journey towards a concert I'm going to go to in October. I'm going to be seeing a Grateful Dead concert, a Dead and Company concert that I've got tickets to see, and I'm very excited. I'm going to see it with a couple friends, and I don't know if they're out there, Jessica and Travis. We're going to go see Dead and Company together, and it's like, in order to get to that concert, a lot of things have to happen. And under this Venus Mars, I've been getting excited about going to see that concert and kind of taking action in my life that's consistent with making that a really positive experience. And so this could be a time not only to like get out to see live music, but also to buy a ticket for some music you're going to see a couple weeks from now or a couple of months from now, whatever it is. It's a great time to kind of get in alignment and take actions that lead you to dance and music and fun. Well, yes, it's harder to get out dancing these days, depending on where you are. Definitely in Europe, it's harder. Okay, any more questions out there? Okay, I'm going to draw a couple more cards and we'll just go a little longer here. Let's see if there's anything else I want to say. I guess I just want to thank everybody again. Thank everybody for following the channel. Thank you for coming today. Again, I'm going to be doing another live stream in a couple of weeks, same time, 11 a.m. PDT, California time, on August 8th. And again, if you're interested in the free astrology reading, send me the email. I'm also asking people to be on my email list. You'll see a link for that below. You'll see my email below. Send me an email with a description of a special experience you've had of sky watching, and then 2 weeks from now I'm going to pick out of a hat the person that's going to win the 90-minute astrology reading. You're welcome. Know thyself. You're welcome, Raven. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Here's what came. Starfish. Anybody feeling like a starfish? It says replacing what was lost. You now have the opportunity to rejuvenate and start anew. Create with a new perspective or outlook. This card may also indicate abundance is on the horizon. That seems kind of consistent. Replacing what was lost. I like that one. I'm going to pick a fairy card. So Pluto, yes. Here's one of my favorite cards from the Heart of Fairy Oracle deck. Lady of Faith. Lady of Faith. I love her. What are some of the cards we got? Total Perfection of Your Life. Lady of Faith. We got the Trust card. A lot of positivity here. A lot of positivity. You're feeling like a starfish, Josh? You're welcome, Josh. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate everybody for coming on today. It's been really nice to be with you. And I'm looking forward to doing the next one on the 8th. And I'm thinking about doing this more regularly. I'm not sure how often. But yeah, this has been great. Sending blessings to everybody. Sending love. Sending blessings and love. Till next time, be well, everybody. Be well, take good care, enjoy your day, enjoy your night, get out and see the Moon-Jupiter conjunction, get out and see Venus and Mars and the sunset. Okay, love you all. Love. Thank you, Roxanne. Namaste. Thank you, Josh. Hit that like button if you haven't hit it. Thanks, Raven. Buddha consciousness. The Buddha says goodbye, everybody. Buddha says goodbye. He's got Venus at the third eye, everybody. Or is that the moon? Or is it Jupiter? Love you all. Tasha, you just showed up. Tasha, I'm just ending, but I'm going to be back on August 8th, and I'll be posting the recording. It'll be up soon. Blessings, everyone.